Taichi walk, coming forward first, okay? Hands at your waist for stability. Make sure that you're coming up and then coming up stiff as a soldier and then dropping slightly so we know that you're growing through the spine. Here we go. Pivot out, right heel, shift your weight out on the L. How do you round the crotch and how do you come over the heel and down? Knee not beyond the toe, taking it slowly. Sit back, sit down, getting every element in. Twist out, walk in that direction with both hips, out on an L, round the crotch, over the heel and down. These are not words. Try to use what you hear in your motion. Out, twist, walk in that direction, heel, round the crotch, over the heel and down. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, walk in that zigzag direction, out on a heel, round the crotch, over the heel and down. Sit back, sit down as far as you can to store that energy. Pivot out, shift your weight, out on a heel, round the crotch, over the heel and down. Sit back, sit down, out, zigzag, heel, round the crotch, over the heel and down. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, walk in that direction, shift your weight, heel, round the crotch, over the heel, down. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, walk in that zigzag direction, out on a heel, round the crotch, over the heel, down. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, zigzag direction, heel, round the crotch. Going sideways, Taichi walk, getting in at least through playing the lute, okay? And I purposely wanted to leave out hand motions when we went forward because I wanted to watch to see how you did on going back, okay, but that's okay. I trust that you understood the purpose of my lesson, all right? Starting with the 20. Good Taichi posture, commencing form, shift weight, heel comes up on your toe, 100%, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate, deep breath. Reverse, tuck the elbows, flex the knees, hands go for the right, round it out with the ball and the T, out on an L, round the crotch, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, shift your weight, heel out on an L, round the crotch, 2. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift weight, L, round the crotch, final parting of the wild horse's mane. Half step forward, hold your ball, spin your ball as you glance at the right hand that goes up onto your toe, lift it up, set it down. White crane spreads its wings. Don't forget to drop your shoulder. Drop your front foot, tuck that elbow in as you bisect to your danten, swirl back and look back, lift the front foot up, place it on its heel on an L stand, turn the hips and waist, bow stance, brush knee 1. Sit back, sit down, pivot out as if you're walking into that zigzag position, out on a heel, look at the backhand, round the crotch, hands go for the ride, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift your weight, round the crotch, final brush knee. Half step forward, sit back on the back foot, rock the front foot, place it on its heel, play your lute. Today's extended lesson. Drop your front foot, center your front hand, glance at the back hand that's open, lift your toe, put your weight on your toe, lift up, lead with your toe as you center yourself by meeting both hands in the center, to repulse 1, okay? Everybody's not doing their own thing, but trying to think of a new way. Glance at the backhand, on your toe, lift up, stretch out, swivel on your axle, meet in the center, repulse 2. Center, glance at the backhand, on your toe, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot to the center, slide forward, slide back. This is a drill. Center, higher, glance, on your front toe, lift up, draw back, toe, heel, pivot, slide. Center, higher, glance on the front toe, lift up, draw back, repulse the monkey. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot, 3. Hold your ball on a T-stance. Okay, going the other way now, okay? Make the best use of our time. So, standing there, just let me cue you into something, okay? When you know repulsing of the monkey, you tend to do all those movements the way you remember how to do it. But this time, I'm trying to say to you, learn it as if you don't know it, so you can put new knowledge, bring new knowledge in, okay? Make that mind flexible. So I said to stay where you are, and people did listen, some did listen. So we're left foot forward, left hand in the middle, right hand up higher, okay? All set, weight on the back, which is your right foot. Lift to the toe, then lift up, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center as you pivot, repulse, monkey. Center higher, on your toe, then lift up as you bring it to the ear, toe, heel, meet in the center as you pivot. Center, higher, glance, on your toe, lift up, spin on that axle, meet in the center as you pivot, repulse, monkey. Center, higher, glance, on the toe, lift up, toe, heel, pivot, slide. Center, higher, glance, toe, lift up, toe, spin on that axle, pivot, repulse. Last one. Center, higher, glance on the toe of the front, lift up, toe, heel, pivot, slide. Hold your ball on a T stance. Okay?
All right.
Let's warm up for Taichi walk first, okay? Taichi walk, actually, Taichi walk. Let's put in Taichi walk now, okay? Say going forward, good Taichi posture. Pivot out with your right heel, walk in that direction as you shift your weight, out on an L, open the knee around the crotch, shift your weight, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out as if you're walking in the zigzag direction, out on an L, parallel or on the line, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift your weight, L stance, open around the crotch, over the heel and down. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, walk in that zigzag direction, L stance, open the knees, round the crotch, over the heel and down. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball, heel on an L, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, shift your weight, hold your ball for better balance. L stance, turn the hips and waist, round out your crotch, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, ball for better balance, out on a heel, turn the hips and waist, third parting of the wild horse's mane. Half step forward, hold your ball, spin your ball, watch your right hand go up as your left foot rocks to its toe, up with your left foot, place it on his toe, form your bisecting of your shoulder through the top baby finger. Then drop your front foot and bring that right hand that's higher closer to your body as you bisect to your danten, parallel and higher. Getting you ready for today's lesson, lift up the front foot, multitask to brush your knee. 1, sit back, sit down, pivot, walk in that zigzag direction, ear, heel, hand as an L stance to a bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out and walk in that direction, shift weight, multitask as you round your crotch to brush your knee. Transition step, half step forward, sit back on the back foot, steer your wheel on the front, rock to the toe, set it on its heel, play your lute. All right, let's go for the regular way now, going to our left, okay? Starting with commencing form. Okay, good, people are knowing what to do. Okay, good Taichi posture going through your spine. Here we go, commencing form. Shift weight to the right, heel comes up on your toe, open, toe, arch, heel. Rotate your hands, bring them up, deep breath in, reverse, relax, make yourself small. T stance without raising your shoulder, hold your ball. Part the wild horse's mane out into the side. Here it is. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball, heel out, bow the leg. Second parting of the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball, heel out, round the crotch. Final parting of the wild horse's mane. Half step forward, hold your ball, spin your ball, watch your right hand go up. As your left foot goes to its toe, lift up the left, point it out, stretch that knee. White crane spreads its wings. Drop your front foot, bring that top hand closer as you bisect. Swirl back with your left hand, look at the right, lift up the front, turn the hips and waist, hands go for the ride, brush knee 1. Sit back, sit down, pivot, shift weight, parallel higher, round the crotch, brush knee 2. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, walk in that direction, ear, heel, hand round the crotch, brush knee final. Half step forward, sit back on the back foot as you spin your steering wheel on its toe, set it down, play your lute. Okay, stay there. Anything hurting? The back right foot should be aching. If it's not aching, perhaps you can go down a little lower or weight down a little lower. Okay, that's where you want to be. If you don't have that ache, you're a super person, or you need to be weighed down a little bit. To get into repulsing of the monkey, which is a backwards Taichi walk, you're going to flatten your front foot. You're going to keep the left hand centered, and the right hand raises up, back, higher, open both palms to the ceiling. You want that weight still on the back because we can only move the weightless foot, which is the front. You're going to lift up the weightless foot, drop it to its toe, and then its heel as you repulse the monkey. Okay? So we can go back to our places. So if anything that you should remember is, yes, all of what I said, of course. But the most important is that after you play your lute, the weight is all in the back. If the weight is partially in the back, you're going to do not justice to the next movement, which is a backwards Taichi walk. So in this position, we're like this. And we know that we're weighted because our knee is flexed. If it's not flexed and I'm straight up, more than likely there's at least 40% of my weight still in my insubstantial foot. They're both substantial. So we cannot do justice to a Tai Chi walk, whether it be back or front, but more so in the back because we're not accustomed to walking backwards. So we want to be safe. We want to bear that weight all in the back so that we can center and keep ourselves strong and safe and higher because there's a counterbalance, and then we're able to lift up and draw back. And then that axle spins. It actually helps me with my backwards walk because I turn on my axle, keeping my core strong, keeping my centering. And the reverse occurs because now I have a clearly insubstantial foot. Okay? So it looks kind of scary and hard, but it's actually, if you understand what we're doing, and you're not doing it for show, but you're doing it because your body says, I can do it because I'm safe and I know what I'm supposed to do to keep myself safe, then there's no problem, okay? To understand and feel how to weight down on your back foot, I'm going to play my lute. When we actually play our lute, can we do it with me? 2 feet are on 2 different lines on that block. We drag the right foot back and we 45-degree it. Okay, can you get yourself into that position, and then just kind of test it out so that you say, I'm not too close, I'm not too far apart, I'm just about what I can handle. Then you take your front foot and you put it on its first flat, put it on its toe, lift it up, put it on its heel. So let me say it again. Both feet are flat. You know that you can flex like I am flexing. You're going to sit back on your back foot, and you're going to rock your front foot to its toe and then set it on its heel. One more time. Sit back on the back foot, lift up, and put it on its heel. Okay, so that seems like it's doable. But when we have our lute, it's helping us this way, okay? It's helping us because the hand position, we're centered, and our hand positions are sort of mimicking our feet position, okay? So I'm going to turn this way, so there's no error there. You're going to come back, you're going to draw back and play your lute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax, come forward, sit back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sit back. Now, weight down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what are we doing this for? To learn to count? No, because I want you to build up that muscle strength in the back foot so that you can be ready for playing your lute and for repulsing of the monkey. So when you have some spare time and you know that you need to sit back a little bit more, try 5 reps of this. All right? Change foot. Okay? So we are now taking it out of context and we're flexing on our back left foot. Therefore, our right hand comes up, our left hand is short. Relax and down. Relax and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Relax and final. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So don't be confused. Playing the lute in the 24 was the first one, but to balance off grounding yourself and weighting on an equal right and left, we did 2, okay? talked about 2 feet on 2 different lines, and you can do it with me and just kind of refresh your memory, and drag one of the foot back, get that comfortable position, and I remember taking you forward and then making you sit back, taking you forward and taking you sitting back. And I remember counting and saying, hey, is this a drill in learning to count, or what is it? And we said, we know that it's shifting our weight and sitting down. We said that, yeah, this is easy on one side, but a little harder on the other. But we are addressing both 24 and 16. So we then shifted and put the other foot in the front. And we did it again, and we played our lute. We did it again, and we played our lute. But you're saying, why isn't she allowing me to play my lute correctly? Because I want to emphasize that you have to shift your weight and you have to do it in a certain way, where the heel of the front foot is on its heel, the foot is on its heel, and the back leg flexes even more because it's fully weighted. We know that we were practicing for things like playing the lute, although there is another one where your white crane spreads its wings in a certain way where the weight is on the back. And we know we're addressing 24 form and 16 form. But we didn't pick up on how to rock our foot. How do you rock your foot? Show me, you show me. Yeah, so people get the feeling that, yeah, the foot comes up and weight is off of the toe, okay? But sometimes the other occurs, okay? So when we rock our foot, we come forward and then we lift it up. We come forward and then we lift it up. That's how we rock it. And sometimes we come up and then we come down. So I want to address the coming up and coming down, okay? So 2 feet on 2 different lines, which let's do the right one first, okay? So just get into this form first, okay? We want to come up and we want to come down. We want to come forward and we want to lift up and come down. We want to come forward, and you might have to close your span because that's what I found that I had to do. So this is that rocking motion. Comes to the toe and then comes down. Okay, the other side. On its heel, come forward, and lift up and come down. Forward, lift up, start with your toe, come down. What am I getting at? Start with your toe and then lift up and come down. Sit back, lift through your toe, come up and come down. Get it? Lift up, point with your toe, back, toe, heel, pivot, down. So we're getting at repulsing of the monkey. A little bit awkward, and you feel like, what is she doing? Because I've really taken it out of context, especially the lifting of the rocking of the foot. It's not so much the back foot is easy, but once you do this, because we don't have our upper body to help us, and plus we've taken it, isolated it, and took it out of context, okay? So everybody follow to some extent. It's shifting of weight. It's how you can get into the prime position to get into a new movement. And Taichi walk, we know, we extend that foot or extend the knee. We don't just come out this way. We extend it for an L stance, and then we shift our weight and go into bow stance. So similarly, when we repulse the monkey, we have this foot that's walking in that direction. It's rooting us down. We want to bring this one of the foot up, because it's leading, it's down, it's semi-down here, weight on the back. We want to lift up to our toe so that our toe begins the movement and bring it straight back with our toe, then down on our our heel, pivot to the ball of our foot, and relax, coming back again, to allow this weighted foot, to allow the insubstantial to lead with the toe, lift up, back straight on its toe, down here, then zigzag to straighten out this way. So because it occurs so fast, we sometimes, or all the time, 3/4 of the time, if not 100% of the time, end up for the next repulsing of the monkey. But what we want to look at is how do we get there safely and what are we using? So we're using a lot of Yang Chen Fu's principles. We're using sitting back, weighted down, substantial, insubstantial. We then are using only the insubstantial can lift up, posted down. Then we're using turning of the hips and waist, turning yet even more, then turning, pivoting to yet sit back down again. So all those elements have to be worked in to be safe. We said we have to rock so that we're putting our weight in the back. We have to rock forward to lead repulsing of the monkey with the toe rather than leading this way. We're going to have to lift up, come back, stretch out, stretch that knee out, bring it back, start with the lead again with the down with the toe, pivot in, and then turn that front foot. So all those elements have to be addressed, okay? When we, like I said, when we take it out of context, it can be confusing, but we want to clearly now understand what that whole picture is all about. What are the elements that furnish safety for that backwards Tai Chi walk? Are there any questions? Anything that I said that may not have jived with your thinking? Is a time now to address it, okay? It'll help me with my presentation or lesson in itself. Okay. So I thought about doing it this way. This is your toe, this is your heel, this is your knee, yeah? Right? What is this? Toe. What is this? What is this? Knee, right? So toe, lift up, right? The knee bends. I don't know how to do this one. Lift toe, lead with your toe, lift off the ground, swing it back, extend the knee, put it on its toe, then on its heel. Yeah, is that right? All right, if it's right, we're going to do it that way then. Toe, everybody has a toe. Everybody has a heel. Everybody has a knee. All right? Turn this way. To repulse the monkey, first we sit on our back foot, on our heel. Then we lift that to the toe. We lift off the ground. We come back, extend this knee, put it on our toe, then on our heel. Okay? Are you doing it with me? We sit back on our heel to play our lute. We come forward, and it's our toe. We lead with our toe. We lift off the ground. The knee now. We bring the toe back, and our knee comes fully extended. We touch down on our toe, then our heel. Okay, and if anybody were smart, they would have caught me that I said we started with sitting back on our heel, and then I pushed you to the forward. There's no way you could do it because sitting back is on the opposite foot, and the toe leads for the other one. But we're not going to change our hands out of simplicity, or it'll cause more confusion. But I wanted to give you a start on where we are. We're playing the lute. Okay, watch this. We're playing the lute. We lift off to our toe to start our movement. That was our finger. We lifted up. We went back, and I said to stretch out that knee, right? And I landed with my toe and then my heel. Then I did this, but we didn't cover that yet. Okay? So to do it this way, I sat back on my lute, playing my lute. I lifted my front foot to the toe, not giving it weight, but getting it prepared for a liftoff, right? So this guy is very grounded. I'm going to lift off the ground, stretch out my knee, put it on my toe, put it on my heel. I'm in an awkward position. I need to zigzag it correctly. So I'm going to use my front foot, the sole of the foot, to then bring it straight and then sit back. Yeah? Is that right? All right. What we're going to do is we're going to go come 2 big steps forward and we're going to go back, okay? Just with that in mind, just so that so you say, you know what, I already do it, but let's do it again and make sure that you do it the way you're supposed to do it, so that when we put our hands together, it'll jive, okay? All right, so we are sitting back on playing our lute, okay? Weight on the back, hardly any weight on the front foot, therefore we can have it on its toe. When we do that, our right foot is fully grounded. It's weighted even heavier. We're on our toe. We're going to lift off, lift up, bring it on its toe, then a heel, pivot to the front, the ball of our foot, taking the weight off of the heel, and then stretching back. Weight on the back, alternating, right? Put the front foot to the toe, lift off the ground, put it straight back to the toe, then the heel on a zigzag, then unzigzag the front and down. Weight on the back, lift to the toe, weightless, to allow it to come lift up, toe, heel, pivot on the ball of our foot to straighten out, then come back, weight on the back. One more. Weight on the back, lift to your toe, no weight, preparing ourselves to lead for a backwards motion. Lift up, stretch that knee, toe, heel zigzag, unzigzag the front, sit down. Okay, turn around and come this way so I can watch. Okay, nobody to watch, so now you're internalizing what we just learned. Left foot on a line, right foot back. Okay, we're going to start with the left foot being weightless. Okay, so both feet are down, and you know that you're in all right, let's start again because I don't see the feet positions. 2 feet on 2 different lines across from each other. Ooh. Right foot back on a 45, weight on the back. Front foot to its toe, lift up, stretch the knee out, straight back to the toe, plant it on its heel, pivot to the ball of your foot in the front, weight down on the left. Are you sitting down? I don't see lots of people sitting down on that imaginary stool, all right? If that's the best you can, that's fine. Lift up to the toe, lift off the ground, bring it straight back with the knee straight, then the toe, then the heel, pivot on the ball of the foot, shift the weight to the right. Okay, one more. Toe on the front, lift up, stretch the knee out, toe, swivel on that axle, down on the heel, swivel again, and shift weight back. One more. On the toe of the right, lift up, stretch out that knee, swivel on that axle on the heel, then on the ball, and then down. All right, very good. Okay, go back. So what I want you to do is go home and practice that. First, take off your hands and then do that. It looked good, but here I am looking at you, and so you're putting forth your best, best, best. But when you're relaxed and you hear the music, it may be the best because you want that high. But what I want you to do is teach yourself that there are definitely, Tai Chi is definitely a discipline, and you have to know it in the right standard for you to get all the benefits and perks from it when you are then in a relaxed mode, okay? And then I think you'll see that everything that I teach you will now make those fine connections, because like I started this, this particular movement, I said we're going to take care of shifting weight, taking care of rocking so that we know that the insubstantial foot is the only foot that can move. We know that we're grounded a little bit heavier, and that we know that we're safe and that we can lift and bend. Extend that knee, extend the knee like a Taichi walk, having some balance, coming down because we need to, and then working out through the turning of that axle and then weighting down and making sure that this guy is helping us to stabilize, to do something we cannot see that's going on, swiveling again, coming down, straightening that out, coming down. So where do my hips? My hips are straight here, and my hips are straight here. So, okay, so you know what? Ken and I finally agreed that we were fighting too much because we blamed it on precision. And if you're precise and you're doing it, great, but if you're getting down to the itty bitties, sometimes that split second, the hip is here and then the hip is there. But I say, work on it, then come and ask me the question again, and you probably answer it for yourself. Okay, so in most cases, when we start to teach itty bitty stuff, the answer may come out wrong, and you say, what? She said this and she said that, or you listen to my lesson and it doesn't match what I'm saying to what I'm doing, because it's coming later because I have to think of my own balance, or the thing that precedes what or comes after what I speak may not be synchronized. It's hard. Okay, and one more thing. When we put music to this, it's a blur again, right? Because you're coping. But what I'm trying to say is that take some of the details that I'm teaching you so that you know those mechanisms that keep you safe and for that movement to flow, and then it's your call to some extent, okay? Yeah.
It's the old story of connect the dots and then later on round it out, as far as I'm concerned. Because when you're in action, you're not going to just go straight back and stop, connect the dot. You're going to come back. You're going to probably soften it a little bit. There is some degree of rotation. What we don't want you to do is to say, well, where you said to come back and then maybe round it, and you do one of these things, you're going to end up coming back this way, but you're going to have a little bit of wiggle room, okay? That's to make it so that it's not a mechanical movement, okay? But I think what she's trying to do is say, make sure you're in your mind going back and relatively straight. When you finish, you don't want to stop with air brakes. You cushion it down with a little bit of this or a little bit of that, but not a lot of swiveling of your hips.
Okay, good. I hope that what I teach, I think 100% of you understand, but I don't want it to just be left alone and only for a few minutes. I want it ongoing, okay? And the best way to do it is to watch the video, of course, but also to implement it in your form. So what I want to do now is take repulsing of the monkey, both in the 24 and the 16, and then take off on what do you do after the repulsing of the monkey on the 16, okay? So that way I can get in all those eager beavers, level 3, young 16 people into the loop, all right? So how shall we do it? Actually, let's start with the 24 and get up to the two repulsing, playing the lute. Okay, here we go. Good Tai Chi posture, young 24. Commencing form, shift weight to the right, lift up, off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, rotate, deep breath in as you elevate. Press down, push down, flex knees, hold ball. Don't bring your shoulders up, out into the side, part the wild horse's mane, 1. Sit back, lower, pivot out in a zigzag, hold your ball for better balance, out on an L, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball, out into the side, round the crotch, final parting of the wild horse's mane. Half step forward, hold your ball, spin the ball, look at the right hand as it comes up, rock that front foot, place it on its heel. White crane spreads its wings. Oh, toe, sorry. Drop the front foot, bisect the body, swirl back, look back, rotate on that axle, lift up the front, L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, zigzag out, brush knee, 2, 3, 2. Sit back, last brush knee, all together, round the crotch, 3. Half step forward, spin that steering wheel, shift the weight, rock the front, put it on its heel. Here we go. Drop the front foot, center the front hand, glance at the back hand that's higher. Lift up and multitask, extend the knee all the way back, pivot, pivot to the ball, shift weight to the back. Center, start with your toe, lift up, stretch out, toe, heel, middle, pivot, slide. Center, higher, toe, lead, lift up, toe, stretch out that knee, heel, pivot on the ball, meet, side. Last one. Center, toe, lift up, modify that foot so it's on a line or parallel, meet, slide. Hold your ball on a T stance, okay? Now, it validates. Eileen is saying, when I use my hand, it helps me to understand what my feet are going to do, or vice versa. But remember, maybe I said it incorrectly. We should always place emphasis that the feet are the most important. It's not the hands. The hands go for the ride. It's the hips and waist and the mind and the posture, the swiveling, the shifting of weight that is important to match our feet, okay? So our hands are just there because they're going for the ride. And you might test that out and say, every time I do a motion, what is it that's driving my hand motions? And when you feel that it is just purely hands, then say, it's my core, or force your core to work that movement, okay? And yes, besides being easier with your upper body moving to match what we went over in feet alignment, Yang Cheng Fu's 10 principles, 1 says you need to coordinate the lower body with the upper body. There again, make that standard clear for yourself, okay? All right, we said that we would do Yang 16, get all the way through repulsing of the monkey and go a little bit further, okay, if not all, okay? Here we go. Yang 16, good Taichi posture. Here we go. Commencing form, shift weight, 100% off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, rotate. Deep breath in as we elevate. Tuck those elbows in as we push down and flex down. Hold a ball without raising your shoulders. Out and to the side. Lunge forward. Part 1, horse's mane. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out. Ball for better balance as we shift our weight out on an L. Part the wild horse mane. Final. Half step forward. Hold your ball. Spin the ball, look at the left hand as it goes up higher, rock the front foot, place it on its toe. Drop the shoulder, make sure that the back leg has all your weight. Bring that elbow in as you bisect towards your danten. Swirl back, look at your back, your left hand that's higher, lift up the front foot, it's on its heel, round the crotch, brush knee 1. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out in that zigzag, round out your hands, use your hips and waist, round the crotch, brush knee 2, drop those shoulders. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, fist the right hand, left hand goes higher, come down, deflect, then bring that parry in, turn the wrist to punch, out. touch. Open your fingers, roll back, shoulder width away. Spiral up, lunge forward. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook the backhand, T-step, shift your weight, out into the side, L stance, push out, single whip. Half step forward, swirl the backhand, rock the front foot, play your lute on its heel, setting up nicely to rock the front foot as you center the front hand. Your toe is going to lead your motion. Lift up, extend the knee, back to the toe, down to its heel, multitask, ball of your foot pivots as you slide back, slide forward. Center, glance at the backhand, rock to the toe, lift up, extend the knee, down on the toe, then the heel, pivot to the ball, slide, okay? This one now. Pivot the front foot on its heel. Leave your hands there. Pirouette, that means put the weight on the toe. Now you have a sort of a backwards or upside down Taichi ball, right? You're going to kick out with your heel as if you're on an L stance, and you're going to reposition your ball to the correct way. Out on the heel, turn the ball up to your eye and forehead, turn your hips and waist, push out as the maiden places her shuttlecock on her weaving loom. Sit back, sit down, pivot in, hold your ball for better balance. Out on your heel, turn the ball. As it gets to the forehead, turn your hips and waist, put the shuttlecock on the right. Half step to the back, across the hips and waist with your right hand. Point out, extend the knee on the toe of the right as you come down to the bottom of the C. One hand comes up, join it by the next, lift up the right foot, stretch out the knee on the heel, come out, flash arms like a fan. Sit back, sit down, pivot, cup, 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands, 1 thing happens. Middle cup, 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. Close the feet, middle cup, 2 things happen. Flip the hands open, middle cup, 3 o'clock, flip the hands, turn your feet into a T, hold your ball. Out and to the side, L stance, bottom hand advances to ward off. Turn the hips and waist, watching as if your hands should be going for the ride. Use your turn your hips and waist, contact, turn at the hips and waist, push out from the center. Separate your hands and roll back and sit down. Push up, then lunge forward, flatten your foot. At the same time you come forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot. Left hand on the bottom, root it down on the ball. Out and to the side, move the ball. Lunge forward, press forward with your foot. Turn hips and waist, reposition hands. Hands go for the ride. Turn at the hips and waist, contact. Turn at the hips and waist, push out from the center. Separate and roll back. Sit down, push up, lunge forward. Sit down, sit back, twist, open twist, in twist, embrace first, then shift your weight, rotate your hands, come up, push the tiger closer to your body or chest. Push out using your core, separate your hands, drop your shoulders, tuck the elbows, flex your knees, hands go for the ride, gravity takes care of everything as we now close our form. Okay, so I want to just help you with closing form. So it's an awkward position. Here again, we're looking at shifting of weight and rotating on our axle, okay? But I think to put it sort of plainly, pivot, open pivot, in pivot. We want to close our form. What we should do now is center with the right hand inside. Center this guy first, ground ourselves so that we are weighted. Then we have that insubstantial foot to come up, come down, and at the same time, energy consolidated, but can be brought up slightly in. You don't have to announce it to the whole world. And then out, shoulder width, and then remember I said tuck. So tuck, rather than just come down like this or come out like this. You tuck as you come down. And if you tuck and you come down, the weight, the gravity brings us back down. So you hardly feel pressure to pull your hands down. It's this guy that's helping you to come down, okay? Shifting of weight, although our feet are together and not like this, but at least it's flexing of the knee, okay? It actually took me a while to get to this point, so I understand the mechanisms or the whatever that you're trying to achieve. But if you can try, just cross this guy first, ground this guy, and then lift, okay? And everything that you do besides this one, so we've seen stuff that people are, sometimes jumping or hopping to close, and they're also jerky to do their parting of the wild horse's mane, or even this. So even this, you want to do this, but you can still do it. You can still drill down that weight and not hop to it, okay? So when you practice and when you think about all the things that you hear me saying time and time again, just try to work it in. And that's your posture. Here we go. Commencing form, shift weight, 100% off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, rotate. Deep breath in as we elevate. Tuck those elbows in as we push down and flex down. Hold a ball without raising your shoulders. Out and to the side. Lunge forward. Part one, horse's mane. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out. Ball for better balance as we shift our weight out on an L. Part the wild horse mane. Final. Half step forward. Hold your ball. Spin the ball. Look at the left hand as it goes up higher. Rock the front foot. Place it on its toe. Drop the shoulder. Make sure that the back leg has all your weight. Bring that elbow in as you bisect towards your danten. Swirl back, look at your back, your left hand that's higher. Lift up the front foot, it's on its heel, round the crotch, brush knee one. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out in that zigzag. Round out your hands. Use your hips and waist, round the crotch, brush knee two. Drop those shoulders. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, fist the right hand, left hand goes higher, come down, deflect, then bring that parry in, turn the wrist to punch, out. Touch, open your fingers, roll back, shoulder width away, spiral up, lunge forward. Pivot on the back, pivot on the front, hook the backhand, T-step, shift your weight, out into the side, L stance, push out, single whip. Half step forward, swirl the backhand, rock the front foot, play your lute on its heel, setting up nicely to rock the front foot as you center the front hand. Your toe is going to lead your motion. Lift up, extend the knee, back to the toe, down to its heel, multitask, ball of your foot pivots as you slide back, slide forward. Center, glance at the backhand, rock to the toe, lift up, extend the knee, down on the toe, then the heel, pivot to the ball, slide, okay? This one now. Pivot the front foot on its heel. Leave your hands there. Pirouette, that means put the weight on the toe. Now you have a sort of a backwards or upside down Taichi ball, right? You're going to kick out with your heel as if you're on an L stance, and you're going to reposition your ball to the correct way. Out on the heel, turn the ball up to your eye and forehead, turn your hips and waist, push out as the maiden places her shuttlecock on her weaving loom. Sit back, sit down, pivot in, hold your ball for better balance, out on your heel, turn the ball. As it gets to the forehead, turn your hips and waist, put the shuttlecock on the right. Half step to the back, across the hips and waist with your right hand. Point out, extend the knee on the toe of the right as you come down to the bottom of the sea. One hand comes up, join it by the neck, lift up the right foot, stretch out the knee on the heel, come out, flash arms like a fan. Sit back, sit down, pivot, cup, 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands, 1 thing happens. Middle cup, 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. Close the feet, middle cup, 2 things happen. Flip the hands open, middle cup, 3 o'clock, flip the hands, turn your feet into a T, hold your ball. Out and to the side, L stance, bottom hand advances to ward off. Turn the hips and waist, watching as if your hands should be going for the ride. Use your turn your hips and waist, contact, turn at the hips and waist, push out from the center. Separate your hands and roll back and sit down. Push up, then lunge forward, flatten your foot. At the same time you come forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot. Left hand on the bottom, root it down on the ball. Out and to the side, move the ball. Lunge forward, press forward with your foot. Turn hips and waist, reposition hands. Hands go for the ride. Turn at the hips and waist, contact. Turn at the hips and waist, push out from the center. Separate and roll back. Sit down, push up, lunge forward. Sit down, sit back, twist, open twist, in twist, embrace, embrace first, then shift your weight, rotate your hands, come up, push the tiger closer to your body or chest. Push out using your core, separate your hands, drop your shoulders, tuck those elbows, flex your knees, hands go for the ride. Gravity takes care of everything as we now close our form. Okay, so just, here we go. Good Tai Chi posture, Yang 24, commencing form, shift weight to the right, back, pivot, pivot to the ball, shift weight to the back. Center, start with your toe, lift up, stretch out, toe, heel, middle, pivot, slide. Center, higher, toe, lead, lift up, toe, stretch out that knee, heel, pivot on the ball, meet, side. Last one. Center, toe, lift up, modify that foot so it's on a line or parallel, meet, slide. Hold your ball in a T stance, okay? Now